In the last video, we solved the equation on the left and rewrote it in standard form, and we cleared the fraction using the least common denominator. Now we're looking at the question on the right, which has decimals. We're still trying to rewrite this in standard form, so we still want it to look like ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c are integers and a is a positive integer. So we'll notice this time our x is in the correct location. It's on the left-hand side, but the y is not. So first we're going to move the y term over to the left by using an inverse operation. Currently it's a positive value, so if we subtract 0.1y from both sides, that will help us to move in the correct direction. So now on the left we have negative x minus 0.1y plus 2.2 equals 0. On the right hand side, since we used an inverse operation, they're canceling out, we end up with a 0. Now if we go back and look at standard form, the constant is supposed to be on the right hand side of the equal sign, so we're going to use inverse operations again. The inverse of adding 2.2 is subtracting 2.2, so we're going to subtract 2.2 from both sides, and 0 minus 2.2 is negative 2.2. Now next, remember that these all need to be integers. And to go from a decimal to an integer, we look at the largest place out, how far out we go in decimal values. And we'll notice that these both go to the tenths place. So to eliminate those decimals, we'll multiply both sides by 10. On the left, we'll need to distribute. So 10 times negative x is negative 10x. 10 times negative 0.1y is negative 1y. And on the right, negative 2.2 times 10 is negative 22. Now we're pretty close to what I want, except for the a value is negative 10, and it's supposed to be a positive value. So recall that if we want to just change the signs, we can accomplish that by multiplying by negative 1. So we're going to multiply both sides by negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 10x is positive 10x. Negative 1 times negative 1y is positive 1y. We usually don't write a coefficient of 1. So just write y instead of 1y. And then negative times a negative is a positive. So then our question, once we rewrite it in standard form, it now looks like 10x plus y equals 22. One more example using standard form is that we're going to be given some information now. So maybe we'll be given a point and a slope, or maybe we'll be given 2 points. And we're going to work in point-slope form first and then convert our answer. So in this case, we're given the point, which is our x1, y1, and we're given the slope, which is our m, and we're going to use point-slope form. And plug in our values. So the y1 was 1, the m was 3/4, and the x1 was negative 5. And we're trying to write this in standard form, so we're trying to go for the ax plus by equals c, where a, b, and c are integers and a is positive. We'll be distributing the 3/4 next. And I'm going to kind of combine some steps here. The minus negative 5, we're going to change that into a plus positive 5. And then we're going to do 3/4 times 5, and we're going to get 15/4. And now, next, let's go ahead and try to eliminate these fractions, because we do know that a, b, and c are all supposed to be integers. So our denominators are both 4s, which means the common denominator will be a 4. So let's multiply both sides by 4. On the left, 4 times y is 4y, and 4 times 1 is 4. On the right, 3/4 times 4 is 3, and 15/4 times 4 is 15. Okay, that clears things up pretty nicely. Now, we want the x to be on the left-hand side, so we're going to subtract 3x from both sides. Now we've got negative 3x plus 4y minus 4 equals 15. And we need all of the constants to be on the right, so we're going to be adding 4 to do that. I'm going to move over here just because I'm kind of running out of space. So on the left-hand side, the negative 4 and the positive 4, they add up to 0, so it's sort of like those cancel out. And then we're left with the negative 3x plus 4y. And on the other side, we've got the 15 plus the 4, which is 19. And we're very close to what we want, but the a value is supposed to be positive. So we're going to multiply both sides by -1, which is good for changing signs. And negative times negative is a positive. Negative times a positive is a negative. And positive times negative is a negative. So then our final answer, the equation of the line that goes through the point -5, 1 and has a slope of 3/4, written in standard form, is 3x minus 4y equals -19.